Okay, well look, welcome everybody. First of all, my name's Ian Bruce. I'm the Pro-Vice Chancellor for the Faculty of Medicine, Health and Life Sciences here. And it's a great pleasure to be here to introduce and open this event today. So welcome to Queen's University Belfast. Many of you will know that we're now celebrating our 180th year this year. We were established in 1845 with a clear aim to widen access to higher education on the island of Ireland. And some of you will know that our motto or our vision is to shape a better world through life-changing education and research. And so our core values are to drive forward excellence in research and education, but to make sure that those have a civic impact. And as an anchor institution within this region of Ireland, we are very committed to making a major impact from our research and education for the people of this region. I think the Centre for Behaviour Analysis was established probably between 2010 and 2012, so it's been in existence for about 15 years. And over that period of time, and I looked at your website, and I really like the sort of the description of the centre in the website around that philosophy of inclusion, evidence-based effective education, and person-centred research and practice. And I think that alone embodies Queen's University's ambitions of wanting to make a difference, and wanting to make a difference at the individual level, at the level of families and carers, but also at a societal level as well. So it's a real pleasure to welcome our speakers here today. Dr. Gina Green has had a 20-year association with Queen's. Dr. Paul Cavoni from Florida, who's also here to speak. I would also like to welcome Orlai Flynn, MLA for West Belfast, who's a spokesperson for Sinn Féin on mental health and suicide prevention. And it's a real delight to have you here today, because I think this is a really important topic that we'll be touching on today, and I think one which absolutely fits within your area of interest and remit. So I hope you both enjoy your visit here. I know it's a very brief time that you've had here, but you've had absolutely glorious weather, and I hope you enjoy the time that you have here. And I'd like to hand over now to Professor Karola Dillenburger, the head of the centre, who will make a more formal introduction. But thank you all very much for coming today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ian, and I must say Ian was here at very short notice, which is even really, really nice to spend the time and not be anywhere nicer on such a sunny day. I want to welcome you all very much to Queen's, obviously, that Ian has already done, and specifically to the Centre for Behaviour Analysis, which has been around for quite some time, doing a whole range of different works. So I just give a quick history of the centre and what we've been doing. The launch of the centre was actually in 2012, as you said, but it was based on the court centre that was in existence since 2010, and it was basically a renaming and an expansion of the work that we did with court. Queen's University Autism Research and Treatment Centre, we called it at that time, and then now it's called the Centre for Behaviour Analysis. We have done lots of publications and books and things like that. In 2005, before the centre was set up, and with her great support, Gina Green received the honorary doctorate from Queen's University. And she actually said about our books, I know that the edition and the editors and authors will be very happy if this book convinces even a few readers to take an objective look at ABA and what it can do for children with autism and their families, and of course other people as well, which we're going to hear from Polly later on today, which is great. If it ultimately helps more children with autism get truly effective treatment, I think I can safely say that all of us would be very ecstatic. And I think that hasn't changed since over the last 20 years. We would still be very happy. Many of you here in Northern Ireland have probably seen the programme It's Not Okay, recently Spotlight programme, which has shown that we have an awful long way to go. We maybe thought we have achieved something in 20 years, but we have a lot more to go. In the Centre for Behaviour Analysis, we host 2 master's courses. One is the Masters in Applied Behaviour Analysis, which is a verified course sequence for behaviour analysts. We recruited very, very well for a long time. Recruitment internationally has gone down a little bit, but so we started with 1 member staff appointed for the course, and then we have got another one and another one until we were a team of 5 at the moment, 5 behaviour analysts. I can tell you that that's sadly going to change quite soon because 2 of us are leaving the university at the end of July. But hopefully that won't affect the course of applied behaviour analysis too much. It will affect the course in autism spectrum disorders, possibly to some extent, but we really. So we have a course in autism spectrum disorders. Then that's been run since 2002. And we also have a course for behaviour technicians, which is an open learning, a brief open learning introduction to behaviour analysis. We do quite a lot of research. Our colleagues are doing a range of different studies. We have done an overarching base study where we dug up everything to know about autism in Northern Ireland, and we published a lot of papers from that. I'm not going to go into great detail. We've been funded through Erasmus Plus, through the OFM-DFM as it was at the time, and other international funders. We have very good links with the local community, especially with the PEAT group, and we have, I want to welcome Dr. Stephen Gallagher, the chair of the PEAT group, and some of the committee members are here as well. So we have links with the PEAT group. PEAT was a very, very busy charity set up by Mickey Keenan at the time, from 20 years ago, and it has suffered a little bit through COVID. It's struggling to get back up again to the level that it was before COVID, but that's, I think, the fate of many charities. We've developed the Simple Steps program that many of you are familiar with. That's translated into 10 different languages and is available freely. It is quite an extensive multimedia online program with lots of animations. You see a couple of people here featured in it, especially Stephen, of course, and Nicola Bruce, who is one of our Queen's colleagues now. We've also got the program Autism in the Air. Nicola and Pete were very heavily involved with the city airport. We developed a program to help kids with autism fly and go on holidays. And we've also been heavily involved in professional recognition in the UK, where we now have professional recognition of behaviour analysts in the UK, recognised by the Professional Standards Authority. UK is one of the very first countries outside of the US where behaviour analysts are officially recognised as a profession. We'll talk about the other ones in a minute. We've done a lot of international outreach work. Here is some outreach to Ukraine. Obviously, there's the trouble in the Ukraine. We have very close links there. We've been in China and India. We've had international visiting scholars from various countries, Brazil and Spain and other countries. And there's a whole list of international outreach that we've done and networking, and we have students in all the different countries. We've actually got Mariam here today as a student of ours from Qatar, which is lovely, and we have students from all over the world. One of the key pieces of outreach work we've done in the Czech Republic, and I think you can read up about the work in the Czech Republic. The Czech Republic now also has a law saying safeguarding the profession of behaviour analysts. And all this work about safeguarding the profession is to do with consumer protection, of course, because while anybody could call themselves a behaviour analyst and do that work, the consumers are not protected. So if you want to protect the consumers, you have to have a registered, regulated profession where you can actually, that has a bit of teeth as well. If somebody has malpractice, you need to do something about it. You need to be able to do something about that, and you can only do something about that if you have a protected and regulated profession. So we were very heavily involved in the Czech Republic to have that achieved, and as I said, in the UK as well. We have a monthly seminar series. Before COVID, that was in person, so we were very, very busy. All of those seminars are available online in terms of videos of the seminars, so you can see them there. And since COVID, we then have, we've switched over to online, so you can see all of those as well. We've run a number of conferences before this one, starting with the first one in 2011. Then it was still called Quart Conference because it was just before the centre was opened, and then it was renamed basically. In 2012 it was then Quart CBA. We were sort of like starting to name it the Centre for Behaviour Analysis. Then in 2013 we had Laura Unum. We had actually the then Health Minister Edwin Putz here opening the conference, and we had people from all over the world talking about their work with. This was actually the launch of one of the translations of Simple Steps. So we had people from Netherlands, Italy, Iceland, Sweden, and UK parents. These were all the countries that had helped translate Simple Steps. And there was a conference held in New York where Laura Unum, one of the keynote speakers of that conference, had invited Edwin Putz, the Minister for Health, to discuss ABA-based interventions in New York. So he was over there hearing all about it. In 2015, we had a conference with speakers from Canada, Germany, UK, and that conference was actually particularly interesting, I think, because we focused on a multidisciplinary approach. We had all these different disciplines: teachers, speech and language therapists, psychiatry, clinical psychology, educational psychology, nursing, and behaviour analysts. And all of those people were trained as behaviour analysts as well. They were all BCBAs that were speaking from their professional experience, but also from the experience of behaviour analysts. All of those videos are also available online. Then, with COVID and everything else, whatever happened, we had some personal health issues. We then didn't have a conference for a couple of years, but then in 2022 we had an online conference with speakers, with people affected by autism themselves, and autistic adults spoke with us, and with behavioural systems approaches. So we branched out into other areas of behaviour analysis, where behaviour analysis is useful. And today is like a continuation of that effort as well. And we had a parent of a young boy. Well, he's a young man now, he's 19, Johnny, given a very, very interesting talk where she described how Johnny, one of the examples early on, she couldn't take Johnny to the beach because he would just run off. She would have to have him on the beach, a 10-year-old on the beach. She had to hold on to him because he would have just run off. With some ABA, she trained him to come back when he was called, and she put a picture up of him running across the beach like any other 10-year-old, just having a wonderful time. And he's very, very severely affected by autism and learning disability. But he'd been trained through ABA to come back when he was called. It's a simple thing, just to come back when he was called. And he now knew that, he now did that really reliably. She could now let him go on the beach and just be a kid on the beach. And that was just a wonderful example. In her talk then, she also, he's now an adult, he has very type 1 diabetes, and he needs an injection like multiple times a day, and he's needle phobic, so they said they had to sedate him to get these injections because it was just needle phobic. ABA, through his tutors, they taught him how to do that himself. So he is now able to do his own injections multiple times a day. There's a little bit of guidance, a little bit of supervision, but no phobic behaviour at all, because he's just learned that there's nothing to be scared of. He's learned all the steps, and in the video the mother is prompting him a little bit, sort of saying, now you need to take a cap off, now you do it, but he's doing it all by himself. So I mean, ABA can achieve skills in these kids that you never thought they were able to do. As I say, the videos, all those recordings are available on the website. They're also on a YouTube playlist if you're on YouTube, so on the Centre of Behaviour Analysis Resources. Okay, so we're coming to the conference today then, and today we're delighted to have Gina back. And when we realised that it was actually, we were trying to get Gina back for a long time to come back to Belfast because we just love her. And she's helped us so much, we wanted to appreciate her. And then Gina says, oh my God, it's 20 years since I've got this honorary doctorate. So we're delighted to have her back today. And then I've more recently met Paulie online only. I think Vicky met him in person at a conference, and he says, you need to meet Paulie, he's a good guy. So I thought, well, I'm going to want to meet Paulie, I'm going to make sure we meet Paulie. So also, the important point is also that ABA is not just for autism. Sometimes people think ABA is an intervention for autism, and we keep saying no, ABA is the application of the science of behavior analysis. Behavior analysis is a natural science, quite different from psychology. It's a social science. Behavior analysis is a natural science. We're interested in the phenomenon from a natural science perspective. So where we analyze the behavior very, very much in depth. Gosh, I could give you a whole lecture on behavior analysis right now. I will restrain myself. But I'm looking at Ian, he's looking very interested, so I'm just very, very tempted to carry on. But I won't, don't worry, Ian. So the important point is it's not an intervention, it's not one single intervention. Obviously, when you apply a science to a specific target population, a specific target behavior, you can develop lots and lots and lots of different procedures, and for each individual child there are more procedures being developed and innovative ideas coming forward. Sometimes the parents have really good ideas because they know their kids best. Sometimes the therapists can make suggestions to the parents to work with them, or to the teachers. But it's not just, these procedures don't just apply to autism. If you focus on other issues, they can also be applied because the principles of behavior are the same for us all. And it's just a question of adjusting the actual way of how we apply the science. And that's why it's going to be really good fun to listen to Paulie later on, to hear from him about applying behavior analysis to all sorts of other context. And I know we have Anil here, where is he sitting? He is very, very interested in sports in particular, so he'll be wanting to ask Paulie lots and lots of questions.